Toyota's disrupted global supply chain, a Harvard case study. Today, we're diving into the wild ride that was Toyota's global supply chain during the chaos of 2021, courtesy of the COVID-19 pandemic and the infamous global chip shortage. Picture this, it's 2021. The world's in the throes of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Toyota, known for its supply chain prowess, found itself in a bit of a pickle. The pandemic hit Southeast Asia hard, the very place Toyota sourced crucial auto components. As the virus danced its way across the globe, consumer demand for cars did a funky cha-cha. At first, demand plummeted faster than a rock in water. Even the big car rental players were downsizing their fleets, selling off cars like they were going out of style. But hold your horses! As the Western world started recovering with the vaccine rollout, consumers went car crazy, triggering a surge in demand. Now here comes the plot twist. A microchip shortage threw a wrench into Toyota's assembly lines. It wasn't just them. Opel, Ford, BMW, Mercedes, everyone was feeling the chip pinch. GM even hit pause on production at 8 North American plants, blaming it on continued parts shortages caused by semiconductor supply constraints. Toyota, with its reputation for supply chain wizardry, announced a 40% shutdown of global production. The reason? A combo of COVID-19 chaos in Southeast Asia and a tight squeeze on semiconductor supplies. Surprisingly, Toyota held out the longest among the major automakers, but couldn't escape the chipocalypse unscathed. Let's rewind a bit. Toyota had flexed its supply chain muscles after the 2011 Fukushima earthquake and tsunami, a major shakeup that disrupted supplier operations. What did Toyota do? Increased buffer stocks for critical parts and cranked up supply chain visibility. These moves worked like a charm in 2020, but 2021 had a different villain: the microchip drought. Unlike previous disasters, this wasn't a quick rebuild and recover situation. The chip shortage hit all automakers, leading to assembly lines standing still. Engineers were pulling out all the stops for technical workarounds. But the big question loomed: would Toyota need a makeover for its Toyota Production System, TPS, in the post-COVID world? As 2021 rolled to a close, Toyota executives were surely playing mental ping pong with questions. How long till they get enough chips for full-throttle production? Should they revamp their supply chain practices? Was the pandemic a black swan event that just fades away in Toyota's rearview mirror? Let's see in this video. And hey, before we move forward, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You wouldn't want to miss out on the exciting content I've got lined up for you in the future. Toyota Production System. Alright, buckle up, because today we're taking a stroll through the nitty-gritty of Toyota's supply chain playbook. First up on Toyota's hit list is the Toyota Production System, TPS. Picture this as Toyota's secret sauce for whipping up efficiency. TPS dances to the rhythm of wiping out waste like it's going out of style. We're talking excess inventory, unnecessary steps, defective products, you name it. It's like Marie Kondo showed up and told Toyota to declutter its production life. Now let's dive into the cool kids of TPS, Jidoka, and just-in-time, JIT. Jidoka is basically automation with a dash of humanity. Imagine if your coffee machine could not only brew your cup of joe, but also give you a nudge when the beans ran out. It's a combo of machine Jidoka, automated stoppage for defects, and human Jidoka, empowering workers to slam the brakes if they spot a hiccup. Next, JIT steps onto the scene. It's the maestro of making exactly what's needed, precisely when it's needed. No more, no less. JIT is like the Zen master of production control, pulling the strings based on orders from dealers. It's all about balance, my friend. Imagine a Japanese word, hajunka, which means smoothing things out. Toyota used this ninja move to balance its assembly line workstations, making sure they all played nicely and finished tasks roughly at the same time. Think of it as the chef behind the scenes, making sure all dishes hit the table together. Efficiency is on point. JIT, Kanbans, and Hajunka join forces to keep excess inventory at bay. They're like the Avengers of waste reduction, tag teaming to ensure the assembly line stays as lean as a supermodel on a salad diet. Production control keeps a watchful eye, lowering inventory limits as inefficiencies get the boot through continuous improvement. But here's the twist. TPS isn't a solo act. It needs a squad of suppliers who can dance to the same beat. That's where Toyota's lean supply chain fits in. Increasing supply chain resiliency, the Fukushima tsunami. All right, let's dive into the wild ride of Toyota and how they bounced back after the Fukushima tsunami in 2011. On March 11, 2011, a massive earthquake of epic proportions rocked the northeast coast of Honshu in the Japan Trench. A whopping magnitude 9 shakes things up, and just to spice things up, a tsunami crashes onto Japan's coast within 30 minutes. It's chaos. 3 nuclear reactors down, 123,000 homes wiped out, and guess what? Many of Toyota's suppliers had to hit the pause button on operations. More than 300 Toyota suppliers were singing the blues about damaged facilities. Now here's where it gets dicey for Toyota. See, they were used to playing it fast and loose with inventory, only a few hours worth for many parts. Quick replenishment from suppliers was the name of the game. But when the suppliers tapped out due to the tsunami chaos, Toyota's plants were left high and dry. Imagine this, one missing piece, and bam, production of a whole car model came to a screeching halt. But fear not, because Toyota isn't one to wallow in setbacks. Post-2011, they took supply chain resiliency to a whole new level. No more putting all their eggs in one supplier's basket. Nope. Toyota decided to have multiple suppliers for each component. And in those rare cases where a supplier held the golden patent or unique skills, Toyota nudged them to set up shop in a different location, just in case lightning struck twice. But wait, there's more. Toyota had an aha moment about certain components with long lead times. Semiconductors in particular were a pain point. Under normal circumstances, these suppliers could handle Toyota's needs and still keep a safety buffer. But when nature went rogue, that buffer vanished like a scoop of ice cream on a hot day. Toyota came up with a brilliant plan, a business continuity plan. Now, semiconductor suppliers had to keep a safety stash ranging from 2 to 6 months worth of chips, depending on how long it took to go from order to delivery. Talk about playing it safe, and that's not all. Toyota decided it was time to play detective. They joined forces with Tier 1 suppliers and created a mega database. It spilled the beans on every little detail about suppliers across the whole supply chain pyramid. What components they whipped up, where their plants were, and who supplied them with the nitty-gritty parts. It was like Toyota finally got a superhero cape for supply chain visibility. Hold on, there's a cherry on top. Toyota went all in on regional supply chains. Why? Well, having all the required suppliers in one region was like having plans B, C, and D rolled into one. If chaos struck in one area, they could smoothly shift gears to another region's suppliers and dodge a total shutdown. Toyota's initial responses to coronavirus. By December 4, 2021, the world had seen a whopping 265 million cases and mourned 5 million lives lost to COVID-19. Lockdowns went full throttle, slamming the brakes on consumer demand and throwing the global economy into a nosedive. As if that wasn't enough drama, the never-ending debate between science-backed precautions and the desperate need to kickstart economies added some spice. The United Nations even rang the alarm bell about a looming global mental health crisis in May 2020. Cue the stress and anxiety. People were feeling the heat, health scares, social isolation, economic struggles, and a truckload of misinformation. The struggle was real, and the world was holding its breath for a way out. Enter vaccines. The fourth quarter of 2020 brought a glimmer of hope as millions rolled up their sleeves. But, alas, COVID breakouts continued to wreak havoc in 2021, introducing scarier variants to the mix. Now let's talk about Toyota's COVID chronicles. When the virus first crashed the party in China, Toyota played the sympathy card. Akio Toyoda, the big boss, sent condolences and even pitched in with a cool 10 million CHY to buy medical supplies and PPE. Nice move, Toyota. As the virus globe-trotted, Toyota felt the heat. By March 2020, 118,000 cases were causing chaos in 114 countries. Car demand hit the brakes, dealerships closed, and folks were homebound. Toyota had to slam on the production brakes too, with a whopping 28 assembly lines halted in June 2020. It was like hitting pause on the world. Fast forward to August 2020, the dust settled a bit, and Toyota cautiously cranked up production again. The world was inching back to normal, and by the end of 2020, Toyota's total auto sales were down 10.5%. But hey, it beat the 16% average decline for other automakers. It turns out that the supply chain ninja moves Toyota learned after the 2011 natural disaster were paying off. While competitors were stuck in the mud without critical components, Toyota cruised ahead, refilling its stock from the inventory buffers it had smartly set up. With global sales up 6.8% in the fourth quarter of 2020 and vaccines hitting the scene, Toyota saw the light at the end of the tunnel. The comeback was real, and it seemed like Toyota was dusting off the bumps from a wild ride through a crazy year. Addressing the global chip shortage, let's deep dive into the global chip shortage saga, and it's a roller coaster of electronic chaos. Picture this. Every car, from the swanky rides to the trusty old vehicles, relies on microchips for everything: windows, navigation, the whole shebang. Microchips are like the tiny electronic brains on a piece of silicon, making things happen in the car. Before the pandemic, automakers were munching on billions of these chips annually. Now, here's the twist. While other industries locked in long-term deals for their chip supplies, the car folks were all about short-term flings, with contracts lasting no more than a few weeks or a couple of months. When 2020 hit, production took a nosedive, and automakers like Toyota hit the brakes on chip orders to avoid drowning in excess stock. Meanwhile, other tech-hungry industries jumped on the chip bandwagon, responding to the work-from-home trend with a hunger for electronic gadgets galore: computers, printers, you name it. Fast forward to late 2020 and 2021, when the car industry was ready to roll again. The only problem? Chip manufacturers were already dancing to a different tune, busy meeting the demands of those long-term contracts. Oops, competition just got real. Adding spice to the drama, Texas faced a freak snowstorm, knocking out chip factories of big players like Samsung, Infineon Technologies, and NXP Semiconductors. Talk about bad luck. As these guys recovered, a Renesas electronics factory in Japan went up in flames, disrupting 30% of the world's auto production. Toyota, the ninja of just-in-case inventory, was somewhat prepared, but didn't see this prolonged shortage coming. Enter the unexpected guests, the Delta variant of COVID-19, showing up like an uninvited party crasher in late 2020. With a viral load 1,000 times stronger than the original strain, it spread like wildfire, leaving automakers in a bind. The global chip shortage, combined with the COVID chaos, dealt a hefty blow, and CNBC dropped the bomb that it had cost automakers a cool US $210 billion in 2021 alone. Ouch! Now how do you fix a global chip shortage? Well, most cars use these old-school, reliable chips from over a decade ago. Building new chip facilities costs a fortune, and not everyone's eager to invest in outdated tech for minimal returns. Countries threw subsidies into the ring to encourage new chip factories, but even with the groundbreaking, the shortage is set to stick around till 2023 or 2024. Toyota, with its stash of buffer inventory, looked good until December 2020. While they fine-tuned their renowned TPS approach, their competitors took different roads to recovery. And there you have it, the chip shortage saga, a tale of chaos, competition, and unexpected hurdles. Toyota's rivals, response to the global chip shortage. All right, folks, let's dive into how Toyota's rivals played their cards during the wild global chip shortage. It's like a game of automotive survival, and everyone's strategizing to keep their wheels rolling. So, while Toyota was scratching their heads, trying to figure out how to catch up in the chip race, their competition was cooking up some unique moves. Tesla and GM decided to shake things up by rethinking their rides. Picture this: controllers, little wizards on a chip that could do the job of many basic microchips in a car. Tesla, the cool kid in the EV world, managed to break records, delivering a whopping 241,300 cars in the first quarter of 2021, even with the chip shortage chaos. Elon Musk, the brains behind Tesla, spilled the beans during an earnings call, boasting about their agility. They played the chip shortage game like a pro, substituting alternative chips and rewriting software like it was a piece of cake. Musk even spilled the beans about designing new controllers to cut down on chips. But hold on, even Tesla couldn't dodge every chip shortage bullet. Seats and airbags were still on the endangered list. Now let's talk GM. In November 2021, they dropped the bomb, teaming up with 7 chip suppliers on 3 new families of microcontrollers. Their plan? Slash the number of unique chips on future rides by a whopping 95%. Unlike Tesla, GM took the shortcut, skipping the DIY chip engineering and relying on their chip supplier squad. But here's where it gets spicy. Some automakers face tough choices, like sacrificing certain features that guzzled chips. GM started building trucks without fuel consumption software, and Tesla said goodbye to adjustable lumbar support on passenger seats. It was a chip crisis, and everyone had to decide what car features were must-haves and what could hit the chopping block. GM took a different route, shifting chips from less popular models to the favorites. Another tactic, building cars without certain chips and parking them in a massive waiting lot until chips decided to join the party. This strategy, my friends, was called Build Shy. By March 2020, Ford had a whopping 20,000 cars sitting, waiting for their chip buddies. Now brace yourself for the numbers. The global chip shortage was like a punch in the gut, costing the auto industry over 7 million units of production in 2021. But guess what? Toyota, with its secret weapon, a massive buffer inventory of chips, stands tall. Tesla, with its genius engineering moves and fewer cars in production, danced through the storm pretty smoothly. As for GM and the gang, they were still figuring out the engineering game by the end of 2021. The shortages and the COVID chaos? Well, they were still causing ripples in the automotive world. Conclusion: in the fast-paced world of auto manufacturing, the story doesn't end with a smooth ride out of the chip shortage storm. As we gear up for the next chapter, it's evident that global automakers are still grappling with ongoing supply chain disruptions. The COVID-19 roller coaster, with its unpredictable twists, continues to throw challenges at the industry. The Delta variant, the Omicron curveball, and other unforeseen hurdles are keeping automakers on their toes. The pandemic is proving to be no ordinary black swan event. It's a relentless force, and its impact is far from contained. Toyota, our resilient hero, faces not only the semiconductor shortage, but a broader array of challenges. Critical materials like lithium, plastics, and steel are joining the list of shortages, echoing Ford Europe's Gunnar Herrmann sentiment that constraints are popping up everywhere. Toyota, having learned valuable lessons from the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, has rethought its inventory game. The once steadfast belief in relentless inventory reduction has evolved. Now Toyota stands armed with a substantial buffer stock of microchips and other vital components, a strategy born from the harsh realities of past disasters. Geographical diversification of suppliers has become a key move, ensuring resilience in the face of disruptions. But surprise, surprise, even with these strategic shifts, Toyota never saw the coming storm of a multi-year shortage of essential components. Now, the big question looms: should Toyota tweak its production and supply chain practices in a post-COVID-19 world? Is the pandemic a game changer that demands a fresh approach, or will it eventually become a distant memory in Toyota's rearview mirror? The road ahead is uncertain, and the auto industry is gearing up for the next twist in the supply chain saga. Thanks for watching.